a fundamental question. Will artificial intelligence serve human dignity, serve equality and inclusion, or will it deepen existing inequalities and create new forms of exclusion? This is why the connection between AI and social justice is so important. Technology by itself is not automatically just or unjust. Its impact depends on how it's designed, how it's regulated, and how it is used, and how benefits from it. If AI is used responsibly, it can improve access to education, support public service, and enhance legal research, assist design makers, and create new opportunities for development. But if AI is used without transparency or without accountability and a human oversight, it may reproduce discrimination and violate privacy, weaken due process, and marginalize vulnerable groups. Therefore, the challenge before us is not only technological, it's also legal, it's also ethical, and it's also institutional and human. We need to ensure that artificial intelligence remains a tool in the service of people, not a system that replaces human judgment or undermines human rights. From a legal perspective, one of the most important principles is accountability. Whenever AI system affects people's rights, opportunities, or legal status, there must be a clear answer to a simple question: who is responsible? If an algorithm produces a discriminatory result, if an automated system denies access to a service, or if AI is used in a criminal justice or surveillance, responsibility cannot disappear behind the complex of technology. The second principle is a transparency. We all aware that people should not be governed by invisible systems that they cannot understand or challenge or question. In matters affecting rights and freedom, transparency is not a luxury. It is a requirement for justice. And the third principle, for no doubt, is human dignity. AI must not reduce human beings to data points or risk scores or predictive categories. Every person has a value that cannot be fully captured by an algorithm. This is especially important in areas such as criminal justice, or social welfare, or migration, or education, and even employment. In my view, dear colleagues, the future of AI governance must be built around human rights. Human rights provide a universal language through which we can evaluate the legitimacy of AI systems. They remind us that innovation must be balanced with equality, privacy, and non-discrimination, access to justice, and the right to an effective remedy. Transformative social justice means more than preventing harms. It means using law and policy to ensure that technology benefits society as a whole, including those who are often left behind. It means asking whether AI can help bring gaps in education, improve access to legal information, and support persons with disability, and strengthen public administration. But it also means asking whether AI may concentrate power, increase surveillance, or create barriers for those who lack digital access. For countries aspiring toward Brexit Bahata 2040, this discussion is especially meaningful. Development in the age of artificial intelligence cannot be measured only by technological advancement. It must also be measured by fairness, inclusion, and justice. A developed society is not only that uses advanced technology, but one that ensures that these technologies serve constitutional value, human dignity, and public good. Universities, law schools have a crucial role in this process. They must prepare students not only to understand technology, but also to question it, to regulate it, and to guide it through legal and ethical principles. The lawyers, judges, academies, policymakers, and researchers of the future must be able to speak the language of technology while remaining deeply committed to justice. This conference, dear colleagues, is therefore an important platform. It brings together legal scholars, practitioners, policymakers, and students to reflect on one of the most pressing issues of our time. I am confident that the discussions today will contribute meaningfully to the debate on how artificial intelligence can be governed in a way that promotes social justice rather than undermining it. In conclusion, I would say that the central question is not whether artificial intelligence will shape our future. It certainly will. The real question is, what kind of future do we want AI to shape? If we want a future based on justice, dignity, and equality, then we must place human beings at the center of AI governance. We must insist that innovation and responsibility go together. We must ensure that artificial intelligence remains accountable to law, guided by ethics, and directed toward the service of humanity. Once again, I would like to thank the organizing committee for this kind invitation, and I wish the conference every success, and I look forward to the rich discussion that will follow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor, for that deeply insightful and enriching address. We are truly grateful for your valuable contribution and for sharing your profound expertise and experience with us today. Building on the rich academic perspectives we have heard so far, we now move forward to a voice that brings both depth of scholarship and strength of academic leadership to this discussion. We now have the privilege of introducing a distinguished expert, CA Pushpendra Dikshit, whose extensive professional experience bridges taxation, corporate governance, and emerging legal challenges in the digital era. CA Pushpendra Dikshit is a chartered accountant, legal scholar, and taxational professional with over 18 years of experience in direct and indirect taxation, international taxation, and transfer policy. He is also actively associated with academia and professional training at institutions such as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, National Academy of Direct Taxes, NLU Delhi, and IIT Delhi. We would like to inform you that he is unable to be physically present for the inaugural session. However, we are privileged to have him online for this session. We may now request the technical team to kindly assist him to join and address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Mike, Codeless.
हेलो पुष्पेंद्र जी, पुष्पेंद्र आप कनेक्ट हो गए क्या?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
हेलो पुष्पेंद्र जी, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Am I audible? Good afternoon.
हाँ, you are audible. Am I audible to you, M.K. Bandari?
Yes, Bandari sir, I
Ah,
can hear you
welcome.
loud and clear.
Welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, please continue.
Kindly allow me to share the screen. Is my screen visible?
No,
Is my
sir.
screen visible to all?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Just a minute. Let me try it once. Is my screen visible, sir?
No, sir.
I hope it is visible. No.
एरो वाला भी कंटिन्यू करो शुरू कर दो एरो वाला भी करो ना
Okay, let me just set the context till the screen is set up. Good afternoon, respected member on the dais, Dr. Bhandari, Manish ji, and dear participants. It's my privilege and honor to be able to, participate in this knowledge sharing session and share my perspective on this evolving topic of artificial intelligence and its role in social justice for a pathway to Viksit Bharat 2047. So let me just, this is a common thing that we've been debating. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, but PPT is not visible.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible. Please continue, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is my screen visible too?
No, sir.
No. Okay, no problem. I don't know why it is happening, but let's just.
एरो वाला पे क्लिक करने को बोल दो उनको एरो वाला पे एरो बटन
Sir, kindly click on the arrow button.
आप follow you can continue without it is a very ultimate.
Sir, are we audible? He got disconnected. He got disconnected.
सर नेक्स्ट पे चलिए बहुत लोग हैं करता हूँ आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है और नहीं हो तो फिर ये काम करना मोबाइल से करने पूरा और नहीं हो जाएगा नहीं तो फिर ऐसे ही बोल देना आपको भी जाना है 3 बजे हेलो उन्होंने वो एग्जिट करके नहीं बजे जाना है 3 बजे ये 3 से 25 करने वाली उनको शॉर्ट क्या देंगे शॉर्ट कल ही तो आप
I request participants and all the members present here to kindly bear with us. He will join shortly.
जी सर क्या हुआ?
Ma'am, will you continue with the speakers presented?
एक
If the light comes in between, then you will also see the PPT. So the topic which I chose to speak about is something which actually will be a brief repetition if you look at it from the perspective of galaxy of speakers which spoke in the inaugural session. We had 5 stalwarts speaking on the theme, and virtually we have covered almost all aspects of it. But whenever someone speaks on this particular topic and area, they would definitely have some 1 or 2 new points to bring forward. What I am looking forward to is the Manav vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, and aligning this with AI innovation and with privacy, and also including a dimension or touch of constitutional morality, because that is a huge area which needs to be looked at when we are talking about artificial intelligence governance, as well as relation of this and with the constitutional courts. Because from the morning we're talking about that there has to be some human element. If there is a human element, then there has to be someone human who should be looking at it. Emotions, artificial intelligence is yet to gauge. So we need to think from that particular angle. So distinguished scholars, members of the faculty, students, researchers, and distinguished guests, it is indeed a privilege for me to address this international conference on artificial intelligence and social justice for Viksit Bharat 2047. The theme before us is not merely technological, it is basically, if you look at it, profoundly constitutional. It is also civilizational and touching upon the human aspect. We are moving, as India is moving towards Viksit Bharat, 2047. Artificial intelligence is definitely going to play a huge role if we all have a look at it in different dimensions. Because in the morning, I think Gaurav ji pointed out the 10 themes, and if you look at it, each of these themes are talking about a different dimension, including governance, markets, education. We are talking about healthcare, justice delivery, and even democratic participation. It will have a huge role to play. Yet, the defining question would be that whether India will become an AI power. The real question would be what kind of AI power will India become? Because the ethos which our society has is something which is rooted to the people, rooted to the masses, and we are talking about social justice. So whether when we are dealing with AI, whether it will reach to the hinterlands and to the poor at the village level will be a question which will be very, very important to address. So, Honorable Prime Minister proposed at the Global AI Summit held at Delhi the Manav Vision. That is basically the framework that places the human being at the center of technological governance, and that is what I am trying to place before you. So, the idea of Manav basically signifies humanity, but today I use it as a constitutional framework for AI governance as proposed by the Honorable Prime Minister. So what is Manav? M stands for moral and ethical systems. So you need to have systems which are ethical and moral. You cannot base your system which is unethical, right? And some examples we saw in the inaugural session, like discriminatory policies, garbage in, garbage out. We have seen that if you are having a discriminatory data set, it will produce discriminatory results as in terms of the AI implementation. Second is talking about accountable governance. So major question which people are worried about in this artificial intelligence age is that whether that artificial intelligence data will be misused by the state. Their major concern is around that. So that is where it is talking about accountable governance. So whosoever is having that particular data, whosoever will be dealing with AI systems will have to be clear about the accountability. Who will own this data? If there is a breach, who will be responsible for this? That is very important. Third point which Manav Vision talks about is national sovereignty. So we all stand as a nation. If nation gets compromised, if sovereignty gets compromised, then that is a huge challenge. And we have been seeing through different measures, different ways, the foreign elements are trying to intrude into our markets, into our society, into our political system, and that needs to be curated. I visited China, though I am not a big fan of Chinese system from a democratic perspective. Constitutional scholars don't like it. But you look at the administration which they have done. They started their work from 2008, and now they are at the at the frame where they are doing so well. And how they are doing that? They are doing that because if you will see, their systems are very, very robust. They are not even relying on Google. If you look at it, our roads, our systems, everything is available to the whole world. But you will not find that particular system of China available. So they have made that particular system. So we need to integrate and have our sovereignty. We should have our own Googles, our own semiconductors. This is a very important element which needs to be there. Then it is talking about accessible and inclusive AI. So AI should be available to everyone, right? Can we have the PPT open now? Yeah, so that at least the audience can see that. Right. So I am talking about this right now. So if you see the inclusive, accessible, and inclusive AI, that is a very important aspect. Where has it gone? Okay. Let it be. What do you want to see outside? Okay. Right. So I was talking about accessible and inclusive AI, and then valid and legitimate systems. So the systems which we are talking about, because AI doesn't operate in vacuum. You have both hardware and software. So these systems should be having that particular robustness. That is very important, which will be required. So the Manav framework recognizes that AI cannot remain merely a commercial or technical enterprise. It must evolve with the ethical discipline of constitutionalism. So it has to relate to constitutionalism. And this Manav vision should also look towards the people, planet, and progress. The 3 P's has to be the major focus element or area. Now, this is the vision which you look at it. I consider it because if you look the EU law, EU ethics, and the Honorable Vice Chancellor from SRM University, Professor Jaswal, pointed out about the UNESCO ethical guidelines. Those guidelines, if you sum it all, it is the Manav vision, because it is a summary of that, which is bringing in all ethical perspectives into the AI system. If we move forward and talk about the European Union, as I was referring to, this is referred to as Hudaria framework, right? And they are saying that any AI system which you develop, you should look towards the Hudaria risk and impact assessment of AI system. What Hudaria stands for? It is human rights, democracy, and rule of law. If the framework is meeting these 3 things, then it is a sustainable framework. If it is not, if it is compromising any of these, then it becomes a problematic situation. And then there are 4 factors with which you look at it. You look at the context-based risk analysis. You try to see that how much risk in that particular system is from a breach perspective, from a perspective of inclusion of unethical cases and all. This is referred to as COBRA. And then there is a stakeholder engagement process. After you do the risk analysis, you meet the people, try to get information from them and try to understand what is their perspective to that, and then do a risk impact assessment and then a mitigation plan of that system, whichever system you are employing. Like I can give you an example of Aadhaar. Aadhaar card, when it came up, we have all seen the benefits of Aadhaar, but when it went to Supreme Court for analysis, they said no to it. The constitutionality perspective of it, only in government schemes it was permitted, but generally a citizen was not required. For a school admission you require an Aadhaar, or a college admission you require an Aadhaar. That was not accepted by Supreme Court. So that is where the balance was brought up. Now we are not going into the details of it, but this is a very important dimension and aspect. So India's constitutional culture has always treated human dignity not as an abstract ideal, but as foundation of governance itself. In the digital era, that dignity increasingly depends upon how data is collected, how algorithm classifies the individuals, and how automated system influence opportunities, freedoms, and identities. So the Indian Constitution was drafted in a period when there were no algorithms, there were no databases. But it is the beauty of the document that we can still utilize it and bring forward the perspective of informational privacy, which was brought up in Puttoswamy's case. If you look at it, the justices brought forward a new paradigm, that is the informational privacy. And they read it from a perspective that requires a balance. If we look at constitutional morality, what is that? That is basically trying to have a balance of all state power and including the technologically mediated power nowadays the state is having, and that has to be subject to rule of law, equality, transparency, and due process mechanisms. It must have accountability and protection to fundamental rights. So algorithmic governance nowadays is entering into the welfare systems, policing, financial regulation, even recruitment, education, and judicial administration. We have seen a number of examples in the inaugural session. Now, the decisions once made by accountable public officials are increasingly shaped by opaque computational systems, which Professor Jaswal referred to as black box. So now, decision making previously you had. Now, whenever there will be a decision by an authority, you go to the courts and ask what is the reason behind it. Now, AI systems, if they decide, you don't have the reasoning. Nobody is having a reasoning that what AI systems are deciding, because it is a black box. They themselves don't know that what kind of a system has been gone there. So this is a major challenge which needs to be looked at. So the danger is not merely technological error. The deeper danger is the normalization of automated inequity. So this needs to be touched upon. The black box problem needs to be cured, and the Honorable Chief Justice of India recently has highlighted this aspect, that how the AI systems may promote inequity if not checked properly. If you don't have the proper ethical perspectives of that, you will not be able to check that. In Puttoswamy's case, I would like to refer to Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul's statement, and he has referred beautifully about the historical perspective and how we can relate it. And this also relates to the Indian knowledge system. If you look at, he quotes Gita, and he says, it is wrong to consider, this is para 45 of the decision, his concurring opinion in the case, and he says it is wrong to consider that the concept of the supervening spirit of justice manifesting in different forms to cure the evils of new age is unknown to Indian history. Lord Shri Krishna declared in chapter 4, text 8 of the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashachaya dushkitam dharma sanstapnartha sambhavami yuge yuge. And he relates to this, and he says that in every age there is a new change which is happening, and the systems, legal systems, would transform themselves to do justice in that particular area, and which we are able to see through our pillars, which has been told, Article 14 and 21. This is a very important dimension. I wanted to talk a bit about the privacy perspective also. So we are having the DPDP Act. You all know. I will just skip this. This you have already seen. By the way, Puttaswamy has brought number of dimensions, and this is an interesting case to discuss. Probably we can have another conference or seminar on this topic. But this decision also talks about a typology of privacy. So this is the opinion of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, wherein he refers to one paper by Brett Jacobs on the typology of privacy, and they have told that what level of privacies are there, and they have brought this framework. And in this framework, if you will see on the left hand side top, it is talking about bodily privacy, which is the maximum level of privacy which you can look at. But if you go ahead towards the right and towards below, then there are certain privacy which can be breached by the state. This is what it is saying. So all privacy are not protected. State may have some amount of say, and this is the fight actually. So this sliding scale where we are putting ourselves is the question which remains, and we are all discussing this. I will just leave this. Let me talk about this law. This is a new law, you all know, and is going to impact you, everybody, each one of you in this particular room. That is Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and it gives you the right to what? Right to your data, your personal data, and you can give consent, or you can basically deal with that data as per your wish, as per your will. If you give consent, then that will be processed accordingly. Now, this particular data, we all will become data principals. So we will be the right holder under the law, and these many rights are there for you. So right to update personal data, right to erase personal data, right to access the personal data, right to transfer that data to one of the another vendors. In this whole framework, you will have these main stakeholders. So I think we all should know about it, that who are the people who will be managing it. So there will be service providers like consent managers who will manage your consent. Now you imagine every day you give so much of consent. You open an app, you give a consent. You open an email, you give a consent. Every time you are giving some one or the other consent. So you would require a consent manager. But who will manage this manager? That is a big question. In our country, that is one of the major questions. There are managers, then above that there are managers of managers, and then managers of managers, and we all are, it is an untrustworthy system kind of a thing. So here we are having this consent manager. To manage this particular consent managers, it will be by way of a system just like SEBI. You will have the data protection board. So this data protection board will recognize these consent managers who will be managing consent on your behalf. And then there will be data fiduciaries. These data fiduciaries are all institutions who are collecting data for your data and processing it. Like Amazons, like any educational institutions, probably the university will also be a data fiduciary, and they need to conform to these particular requirements. The test of the law is that if a consent is given for X purposes, it cannot be utilized for Y purpose. If you want to change the purpose, then you have to take consent again. Data has to be minimally used and then destroyed. It cannot be utilized for any other purpose. Then there are significant data fiduciaries. These are the people which are having more number of users, like 2 crores and above. These are significant data fiduciaries like social media users, gaming platforms. These people will be having an additional responsibility under the law. This is what the law talks about. This is the timeline of the law. So digital protection, data protection rules has already been notified. You all know 13th November 2025 it got notified. And we are yet to have this board. First the board has to arrive. Then the consent managers has to arrive. But I think it is already getting late. Probably I don't know whether this will happen in this particular law or not. But the last timeline of this full enforcement is 13th of May 2027. So probably at that point in time you will have this particular law. But my concern is that if we want to make equity, if we want to make this law accessible to everyone, whether it will reach to everyone is my question. Because I will take you to another law as a comparison. 1986 we got Consumer Protection Act, and you must have all seen this particular big slogan, Jago Grahak Jago. We still are wondering whether Grahak has jagoed or not. And even if he has jagoed, whether he is able to help himself with the consumer protection. You ask any consumer, either it is a motor vehicle small accident, generally we forget it, no? On the road, if there is a small scratch, we don't bother because there is a larger procedure to get the recovery than to go into that particular field. Same is the situation with consumer protection. If you have a small consumer, that is, we have not been able to form ourselves to that particular level. Just imagine this data protection is a high-end law in that particular sense. So I think it will take time and we will require a lot of this kind of sessions at rural places. We need to educate people about their data, how they use it, and that would be the key, which will be very, very important. Last angle which I want to touch upon, I think I have 20 minutes. We still have time. So we can talk about corporate power and competition and digital, constitutionalism. This is my area in which I work. I have seen that in our country, public law has transformed a lot. It has been a lot of literature, jurisprudence you find in public law. Unfortunately, on private law, we have not worked that greatly. Because I will give you my experience. Most of the times, LLM in corporate laws shift themselves to constitutional law. Maximum times, whenever I sit for the interview for the teachers, they have done their LLM in corporate law, but they are now constitutional law teachers because corporate law seems to be a bit difficult one. I don't know, contract and corporate law. So corporate law or the interaction between two people or private people or contracts. This area is going to have a day when this DPDP Act comes into full force, because this all questions will be not handled by public law. This will all be handled by private law because there will be consent, there will be agreement, and all questions will lie on that whether the consent was correct, whether the consent was influenced, whether the consent was in a proper format or not, if there is a breach of consent. So it will be all coming under that particular private law. And the Competition Act is again already revamped. If you will see, there is a digital markets, and we are all regulating it in a different way than the normal markets. So this area is going to see a huge change. So with this, I feel the future of AI governance of India cannot be determined solely by engineers, markets, or political expediency. It requires interdisciplinary engagement involving law, ethics, social sciences, public policy, and constitutional thought. The Indian Constitution remains our moral compass in navigating this digital century, but we have to find out the innovative ways. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar once warned that constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment. It must be cultivated. And more so in the digital era, it needs to be cultivated. In the age of AI, that cultivation becomes even more important. As we move towards Viksit Bharat 2047, India must ensure that artificial intelligence remains aligned not merely with economic ambition, but with constitutional civilization itself. The Manav vision reminds us that technology must serve humanity, data governance must serve dignity, innovation must remain accountable, and AI must strengthen, not weaken constitutional democracy. The ultimate measure of technological progress will now be how intelligent our machines become, but how deeply our systems continue to protect human freedom, equality, and justice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful and enriching address, focusing on the constitutional morality, Manav vision, and various legal aspects relevant in the era of AI. Your words have truly added depth to our understanding and will guide our reflections ahead. It is my privilege to introduce Professor Dr. Komal Audicher, Professor of Law, Director, Amity Law School, Amity University, Rajasthan. With over 25 years of rich experience in teaching, research, and academic administration, she has held several key leadership positions across prestigious institutions. From her early academic journey at the University of Rajasthan to serving as principal, dean, and head of various law faculties, she has consistently contributed to strengthening legal education and institutional development. A prolific scholar with numerous publications and an active participant in national and international academic forums. Her work, particularly in public international law, reflects both depth and relevance. Her excellence in teaching has also been recognized with the Best Teacher Award by Dainik Bhaskar in 2022. We are truly honored to have her with us today. May I now request ma'am to kindly address the gathering and share her valuable insights.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to the distinguished guests on the dais, off the dais, esteemed colleagues, and dear participants. It's a privilege and profound responsibility to address this august gathering on a theme that lies at the very heart of India's future, artificial intelligence and social justice as we journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. There are moments in history when humanity creates a tool so transformative that it changes not only how to work, but how we think, we learn, and we imagine the future. Today, AI is transforming information into intelligence itself. It is a technological innovation which is reshaping governance, economies, education, healthcare, and recalibrating the justice source. Yet, the fundamental question remains, will this artificial intelligence emerge as the most powerful instrument of social justice as we move towards Viksit Bharat 2047? For India's development vision, AI holds becoming a promise, a catalyst of social transformation. However, it demands deliberate, ethical, and inclusive pathways, for the road to the transformation is not without gaps and challenges, which I'll be discussing in my address. This conference, organized by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Law University and Subodh Law College, is both timely and significant to prove this promise. My presentation seeks to engage with the conference objectives that will shape our collective understanding and policy direction over the next few days. I wish to start with the first one that's close to my profession, that is transformative potential of AI and education. As you can see on the slide, that there are three powerful statements by the distinguished global voices. First by Nelson Mandela, second by Satya Nadella, third Stephen Hawking. Now these three perspectives are not to be taken in isolation. They represent, the first one hope, the second one possibility, and third one is the caution. They must be reconciled into a balanced vision when we discuss the objectives or the themes of this conference and how the deliberations are going to take place in the next 2 days. In a country like India, which is so vast and diverse, AI offers the possibility of democratization of learning Now, how it is going to democratize? That is, it helps to bridge the gap between urban and rural divide, bringing high quality educational resources to the remotest corners through digital platforms, as we already know about SWAM, as we are in the education, online education, and Diksha platform. It enables personalized education, allowing each learner to progress according to his or her unique pace, capacity, and style. It empowers the teachers, the educators with data driven insights, enabling them to identify learning gaps, tailor their pedagogy, and enhance outcomes. For adaptive learning systems to AI driven assessments, the transformation is not just aspirational, it is already underway. But as I said, I will be discussing the challenges also. Now, the first challenge, as discussed in the inaugural session also, the digital divide. The digital divide is there. There is access to devices, connectivity, digital literacy, which is uneven all over India, especially in Rajasthan, although sir discussed that the rural population is more getting exposure to it. But in Rajasthan, if you see the rural areas, the tribal areas, the border areas, they still have huge internet connectivity problems. So this divide is there, and then the AI may deepen inequalities rather than reduce them. Now, data privacy and surveillance. Students are now not merely learners, they have become data subjects. Their intellectual patterns, behaviors, and preferences are constantly being recorded. Now, this raises critical question of ownership, consent, and autonomy. Erosion of critical thinking, what we have been discussing in our like after this thing discussions at dining hall also, that there is an over reliance on AI which has reduced this critical thinking, and there is now education where the inquiry, curiosity, and independent reasoning should remain central, but we are moving away from that. Ethical concerns and bias are there. AI systems are human design and may carry certain inherent biases. Now we must ask whose knowledge is being encoded, whose voices are being excluded, and who is accountable if the system fails. So the national education policy, we do have under that, it recognizes the role of technology. We just talked about that institutions are also experimenting with AI tools, and students are also not being engaged as users, but now they have become the creators of technology. But there is a need for robust regulatory framework for AI in education, capacity building for educators, teachers to integrate AI meaningfully in their teaching, curriculum reform where AI literacy becomes foundational, and above all, a value-based educational approach rooted in dignity, fairness, and inclusion. So the role of educators, we all are sitting here at, it has become more crucial than ever. And let me emphasize this thing, that artificial intelligence will not replace teachers, but teachers who effectively use AI will redefine education. Now that's what I have written at the end of this slide also. Now healthcare, what Professor Paramjit Jaswal sir also discussed in the inaugural session. AI is shifting, that's the second objective I am discussing. AI is shifting the healthcare from reactive to preventive. One of the most promising contributions of AI is personalized medicine. By analyzing large volumes of data, genetic, clinical, behavior, AI helps tailor treatments to individual patients. Through telemedicine, AI-powered diagnostic tools, and digital health platforms, quality healthcare can reach remote and the undeserved communities also. In this sense, AI has become a tool for social justice. However, again, the challenges are there. The opportunities, as you can see, which I have just mentioned, but look at the right side of the slide, the concerns. Now, the use of sensitive health data raises concern about privacy and security, a major concern under DPDP Act also. Algorithm bias can deepen existing inequalities if not carefully addressed. Questions of accountability, especially when AI system makes errors, remains unresolved. So therefore, the integration of AI into healthcare must be guided by strong ethical principles and regulatory frameworks. As India moves towards Viksit Bharat 2047, the role of AI in healthcare will be a true success depending on whether it makes healthcare more inclusive, more humane, and more accessible to all. My third objective is AI as a catalyst for economic transformation, economic opportunities in India. AI has already become an engine of economic transformation. It has the potential to significantly boost economic growth by enhancing efficiency across all the sectors. Agriculture, discussed in the inaugural session also, in services, in manufacturing, everywhere it is playing a very significant role. With one of world's largest pools of young talent and rapidly expanding digital ecosystem, India is positioned to become a global hub for AI innovation. Initiatives such as Digital India, Startup India, and with growing emphasis on AI research and development, and already laying the foundation of this transformation. Equally important is the rise of AI entrepreneurship. Startups across India, as you can see, fintech, edtech, health tech, all these are the foundation for this transformation. But there are certain challenges also. And one of the most pressing concern is job displacement. You know, Nobel laureate Geoffrey Hinton, godfather of AI, had warned that AI would wipe out millions of jobs, and rich people are going to use AI to replace workers. While AI creates new opportunity, it also disrupts traditional roles. And we had recently seen the workers, creating havoc in Noida and protesting. Now, the answer lies in reskilling and upskilling our workforce, ensuring that human capital evolves alongside technological progress. Another critical issue is the inclusive growth. If not carefully managed, AI could widen existing economic inequalities between urban and rural, skilled and unskilled workers, large enterprises and small enterprises. So we must address the concerns of data governance, ethical AI, and regulatory clarity. A robust framework that promotes innovation while safeguarding rights will be the key to the sustainable growth. So AI can play a transformative role in building a resilient, inclusive, and globally competitive economy in this country. Now we have been talking about social justice right from our inaugural session. AI is actively shaping governing system, influencing policy decisions, redefining how citizens interact with state. From welfare delivery to digital governance, AI has become an invisible, powerful force. Constitutional foundation. discussion without constitution, it cannot just take place because the constitution in India guarantees justice, social, economic and political, and we all know that it ensures equality, dignity and liberty, and these are the enforceable rights. In the case of K. Puttaswamy versus Union of India also, Supreme Court recognized this privacy as a fundamental right, but this judgment is particularly relevant now because where massive amounts of personal data are collected and then analyzed. Therefore, AI system must operate within constitutional limits, respecting privacy, ensuring fairness, and upholding due process. The need is for the practical recommendations. Now, the key action areas can be AI in welfare delivery, reducing leakages, improving efficiency in subsidies and pensions. These are just the examples under welfare delivery, human oversight in decision making, democratic governance, real-time monitoring of public services, transparent and accessible citizen platforms, accountability and transparency, algorithm or audit should be there, explainable AI systems should be there. Then there is fairness and non-discrimination. Or AI system can unintentionally, replicate certain social biases. So use diverse data set, conduct bias testing, and establish legal safeguards against this algorithmic discrimination is required. Now, for AI to promote justice, it must be accessible. Invest in digital literacy, local language technologies, and rural digital infrastructure to attain this. So, artificial intelligence is not just a technological innovation, it is a governance tool. But how can it be used? It can either strengthen democracy or it can undermine it. So the difference is how we design, regulate, and implement it. So the integration of AI with social justice will also determine the quality of our democracy. Another aspect, the objective is, that is artificial intelligence and equitable access to equitable justice. Now, we are at the intersection of technology, law, and social justice, offering powerful tools to bridge long-standing gaps while also raising serious ethical and constitutional concerns. Now, expanding access to legal awareness, we have AI-powered legal platforms, making it accessible to people regardless of geographical or any economical status. We have chatbot, virtual legal assistants providing legal guidance in simple language now. We have platforms like legal services authorities which can integrate AI to extend their outreach. Rural and marginalized communities gain access to legal awareness without needing physical presence in courts or law offices. This reduces dependency on costly legal consultation and empowers citizens to understand their rights. It is helping in reducing the case backlog and judicial delays. So it is increasing the judicial efficiency. There are automated case sorting, scheduling, prioritization. There is predictive analytics to identify similar precedents. There is assistance in legal research for judges and lawyers. In India, initiatives like e-courts, Mission Mode project aim to integrate such technologies. Faster case disposal, as we know, means justice becomes more accessible, especially for under-trial prisoners and economically weaker litigants. Now, enhancing legal aid and decision making is another advantage we have, and AI can support evidence-based legal aid, identifying patterns in discrimination, bail decisions, sentencing, helping legal aid lawyers to prepare stronger cases, assisting policy making in reforming justice delivery systems. Now this strengthens fairness and consistency in legal outcomes. Constitutional and ethical dimensions, already in the inaugural session also, ma'am also discussed Article 14, 21. AI must not discriminate under Article 14, 21. Due process must be preserved. Principles of natural justice, fairness, transparency, accountability have emphasized this, the need for technology to remain assistive, not substitutive of human judgment. It has to assist, it doesn't have to substitute. So to ensure that AI promotes equitable justice, we have to develop inclusive AI systems trained on diverse data sets. We have to have digital infrastructure in rural areas. We have to have legal tech collaborations between government, academia, and industry. We have to maintain a human in the loop approach in judicial decision making. So true equitable access to justice will not come from technology alone, but from a careful balance between innovation, constitutional values, and human sensitivity. So the next is the constitutional foundation of AI governance, which already has been discussed in the inaugural session also. So I won't go in detail, but the core principles, the pillars of responsible AI framework requires, we have DPDP Act, we have Niti Aayog under its strategy AI for all, but still to ensure that AI serves society rather than disrupts it, our policy framework must rest on these 5 pillars, as you can see: transparency and explainability, accountability, fairness, data governance and privacy, inclusivity, and accessibility. So the real test of policy lies in the application across sectors. Like if we talk about healthcare. Now AI can democratize access to diagnostics, but errors or biases can directly impact life and dignity. In criminal justice, predictive policing tools risk reinforcing structural inequalities if not carefully regulated. In education, I just mentioned personalized learning, but it may also commercialize and standardize knowledge in ways that undermine critical thinking. In governance, it can improve efficiency, but it raises concern of algorithm surveillance and erosion of civil liberties. So collaboration between government, academia, civil society, and industry is essential to create a balanced ecosystem that fosters innovation while safeguarding public interest. Now the next is, since we all are from academia, opportunity, risks, and I've already discussed this thing. Now this is very interesting. Historically, knowledge systems have evolved with disciplinary boundaries, law focused on rights and regulations, technology on innovation, social sciences on human behavior and social structures. However, very interesting aspect about AI disrupts boundaries. Consider algorithm decision making. It works on algorithms. Now consider it. Now you can see on the slide also. It is technical in its design, it's legal in its implications, it's ethical in its consequences, and it is social in its impact. So the challenges posed by AI are inherently interdisciplinary, and so must be the solutions. AI and the imperative of constitutional and ethical alignment. Now the same there, we are going to disrupt the boundaries. The right law, like if we see the right to privacy as affirmed in K. Puttaswamy's case, how the technological developments must be reconciled with fundamental rights. But translating such constitutional principles into algorithm system requires again collaboration. Lawyers interpret rights, technologists operationalize safeguards, social science, they assess the impact, policymakers go for institutional framework, and this is not optional, it is essential. So the role of each discipline in AI governance is very, very important. An effective ecosystem requires each discipline to contribute its unique strength. So when we have in AI governance, we have to have legal scholars. They ensure that AI systems adhere to constitutional mandate, human rights, principles of accountability, and they also develop the framework for liability, regulation, and redressal. Now we cross to technologists. Now the technologists, what do? They design, they build AI system. Their role must expand beyond efficiency to include fairness, transparency, and explainability. Policymakers, the next one, they translate ideas into actionable governance frameworks. Institutions such as Niti Aayog have already emphasized the need for inclusive and responsible AI strategies. Social scientists, again, they bring critical insight how AI interacts with the society. So the AI enabled, so we have with these disciplines, if they operate in isolation, gaps emerge. When they collaborate, resilient and inclusive systems are built. So we have that in education, in healthcare, what I discussed earlier, we every time need, if healthcare interdisciplinary efforts are required to balance between innovation, ethics, and accessibility. In criminal justice, technologists, legal experts together can prevent algorithm bias and protect due process. In governance, social scientists can help ensure that AI-driven policies are grounded in real societal needs. So we have to build institutional mechanism for dialogue, and AI enables social transformation. So remember, will not be shaped by one discipline, one institution, or one perspective. It will emerge from the convergence of ideas, the exchange of knowledge, and the shared commitment to justice and inclusion. So now I come to the I have got all the objectives explained, but due to paucity of time, I will just come to the recommendation part. We have AI, you just can go through quickly. Privacy, accountability, algorithm fairness when it comes to our fundamental rights. So there are privacy concerns, ethical dilemmas are there, accountability problems are there, fairness in AI systems. There is risk of caste, gender, socio-economic bias, need for representative data sets. So I have mentioned under every concern the solution also. So we will just go through it quickly. AI as a tool for reducing social inequalities. Again, we have governance, education, healthcare, financial inclusion, agriculture empowerment, skill development. And I'll tell you very interesting thing. When I did my LLM from Punjab University, we never had computers, we never had laptops. There used to be a typewriter, and we had to sit in the morning along with him to get our dissertation typed. But now when I joined PhD program at the age of 50, my children would make fun of me. But I learned it. I could do my whole thesis typing myself on my laptop. And now my speed is also good, and that is how I'm standing in front of you as Dr. Komal. So the skill development is very, very important, and there should be some personalized training pathways to procure that. And there is inclusive, I come to the actionable recommendation, it is written in one of the objectives. That's very, very important. Because, when we talk about privileged to initiate this important dialogue today on this subject, we must know how can we generate actionable recommendations to integrate artificial intelligence and social justice goals so as to strengthen the democratic institutions and public welfare in India. Artificial intelligence is not just reshaping our economies, it is redefining how the state interacts with its citizens, how the rights are realized, how welfare is delivered. So, anchoring, Sir talked about constitutional morality. Any meaningful integration of AI with social justice must begin with the Constitution of India. The guarantee of equality, dignity, liberty, they are not the abstract ideals. In fact, they are the binding commitments. So, AI system deployed in governance, whether in welfare, surveillance, public administration, must therefore respect due process, transparency, and individual autonomy. So India has already articulated a broad vision for inclusive AI initiatives led by NITI Aayog. However, now the challenge is moving from vision to implementation. Without clear and implementable pathways, even the most progressive AI policies risk remaining aspirational. So core areas, I just discussed about skills, the key domains as you can see on the slide. They require strengthening of democratic institution, ensuring algorithm accountability. Anybody who wants this PPT of mine, I can always send that. So we have AI system must not replicate societal biases, the data governance for social good, capacity building and inclusion, the role of, I just discussed, interdisciplinary collaboration. With the potential of AI, we know is immense, even if it is good or bad. Safeguard must be embedded at every stage, design, deployment, and evaluation. With these thoughts, I set the stage for meaningful deliberation and invite all of you to contribute towards generating practical, impactful, and forward-looking recommendations. So let us ensure that by 2047, India stands as a developed nation. Thank you so much. AI should serve as a guardian of social justice and not a threat to it. And my special thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nishtha Jaswal, and Dr. Gaurav for giving me this opportunity to share my insights on the subject. Thank you so much.
आपके insights नहीं थे, deep insights।
Teacher हूँ ना।
और इतना comprehensive था कि पूछने के लिए कुछ चाहिए। क्या सब कुछ बता दिया। Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that truly engaging address. The clarity and depth with which you articulated these ideas has given us much to consider as we navigate this changing landscape. Carrying forward the spirit of today's deliberations, it is now my privilege to invite our distinguished speaker, Dr. Manish Singhvi, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India. With over 3 decades of extensive experience before the Honorable Supreme Court, Dr. Singhvi has argued a wide range of constitutional, civil, and criminal matters and has been designated as a senior advocate by the Supreme Court. He has appeared in more than 400 reportable cases and has assisted the court as amicus curiae in several significant matters, reflecting his deep commitment to justice and legal scholarship. We are truly honored to have such an eminent legal luminary with us today. May we now request Dr. Manish Singhvi to kindly address the gathering and share his valuable insights.
Respected Vice Chancellor of the University, respected Bhandari Sahab, Professor Vijay Kumar, Madam Adechi, respected Honorable Chancellor, Professor Subodh Law College, Professor Dr. Kommal Auditor, Professor Law, Director, Eminent Law School, Amity University, Senior Advocate by the Supreme Court, principals who have come from all over Rajasthan. And last but not the least, students, who I think are the predominant audience. I think all the points which I had written with hand have been covered. So since morning, and we are in the afternoon, and we had a very sumptuous lunch which was given by the university. So we are all slightly drowsy also. Now it is very difficult for me to, and IT awaits us. So I am in between somewhere. So, but the topic which was chosen is very limited, and it raises very important concerns. One is AI, and other important is social justice. Now I will first like to emphasize what is social justice. Whenever social justice is not a person is poor, social justice is when there are hierarchies in the society and the structures are made in such a manner that it discriminates certain sections of the society and individual. That is social injustice. And every age has embedded social injustice. Therefore, we may not say in terms of religion, but India is a great place where movements for last 3,000 years have taken place in quest for social justice. Lord Mahavir, Buddha, Nanak, Kabir, I'm not using the words Lord ahead of them, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Mahatma Gandhi, and of course his name, university is there, Ambedkar. They have all championed social justice at some point of time. Now, the whole idea is when the constitution was conceived, it gave us justice, as Madam had stated in the morning, social, political, and most important is that justice social is different from economic. Therefore, Article 15(4), in which affirmative action or reservation takes place, doesn't speak of economic deprivation. It talks of socially and educationally backward class. Now, the whole idea is that how do we combine AI? Whether AI would become enabler, empowering, which will reduce social inequities, or AI will be in such a manner will further aggravate the inequities. This is very important for the students of the day also to learn that whenever we are engaging ourselves with AI, are we going to further the cause of social justice, or we are going to mirror the existing inequities, or even further worsen them or aggravate them? This is a very important aspect because we are all living, we may think that we have vast information available on the internet, which were hitherto not available. But we are still living in echo chambers. What is echo chambers? We like to go in particular groups, we want to hear a particular news, we want to learn a particular information which we like. We don't want dissent. We don't want an alternative view. And this is what is echo chambers. A young mind may feel that I am free to think, but he is not. He is being manipulated by the media. Therefore, what happens is that the dominant voice or the dominant narrative, which is in the society, which is already controlled by few persons who are powerful vested interests, they get amplified, they get mirrored in the AI, they further get strengthened, and in the process, the marginalized voice, the voice which is alternative but very effective voice, they get drowned, and that is known as Copernicus movement. Copernicus, when he said that it is not all the planets don't move around the Earth, it is the Earth which moves around the Sun, which was a very heretical idea. Everybody wanted to suppress that idea, and ultimately had won. And we all know what the real truth is, what is known as a Copernicus movement. So we all need a Copernicus movement, for which we need to think critically and differently. And what does the AI does? It mimics us. It only says, and the dominant narrative becomes the only course which is available on the whatever digital media we are using. And therein lies the real danger of AI coming in the way of, of not promoting an alternative voice which challenges the existing social hierarchy. And AI, Madam Odechi had given a great length at how AI can reduce inequality. Of course it can do. But at the idea level, at the ideology level, at the level of thinking process, AI may become a very homogeneous way of a dominant viewpoint which exists in the society. And therefore it is very essential that in order to promote the social justice that AI also promotes or at least improves upon the alternative thinking. There is a very important concept which has developed what is known as cancel culture. This because very important to know what is cancel culture. Cancel culture is that there is a particular idea which we all, most of the people agree. A new idea comes, a new thought comes, a new thinking comes, and it is disapproved in a menacing manner. On that you are shamed, you are blamed on the media, you are trolled on the media. Therefore, that voice gets decent voice or the voice which is alternative voice is being shamed. You are bullied on the media, and this cancel culture is the biggest threat of which I feel, which we all feel, is of the social justice. And how do we control it? We don't have a mechanism to do that. You can be trolled n number of times. The only way you can do is to move away from the social media. But that is not the correct way. Social media or the digital media has given us ample power to express our views. That is the biggest strength. Why? Because earlier, who could have thought of coming on the screen? Only big stars used to come on cinema. Cinema was the only screen. And later on, TV came. But now, any person who is talented can come on the screen, on a YouTube channel or any other thing. Therefore, we have improved our access to the media, but cancel culture acts as a great dampening impact on a person's thinking process. Therefore, the view is that how do we balance the positive impacts of AI towards the improvement of social justice. And therefore, we have to see what was stated earlier, the right to dignity, and right to dignity would include and the basic dignity. Especially, there was one seminar which was this was talk on Soli Swarajji lecture, which was given by Honorable Justice Narasimha. He gave a very important point. He said that we talk about gender equality. In AI, there is a very concept of deep fakes. And 87% persons who were impacted by deep fakes were women. So kindly see, social justice should improve the gender parity, but it has acted to the great disadvantage of it. And the dignity which is enshrined in our preamble, ensuring the dignity of an individual is what our constitution preamble says. It is being maligned by this aspect of AI. And it was a very astonishing figure. 87% of deepfakes are targeted towards women. So therefore, it acts on a reverse way. It is instead of promoting, it is also acting debilitating. Therefore, these are the aspects which we must see to it that it is improved upon. Another aspect of social justice is that what are the constitutional values which promote the social justice? That we have Article 54, 16.4, 46, etc. But the basic idea is to have a dignity of an individual. And when a dignity of an individual is impacted in an adverse manner, then it invariably, and how does the AI do it? AI has we have access to information, we have access to wisdom, but what we are doing? What we are doing is that we are forgetting the traditional wisdom. We are experimenting with it. And in the name of AI, we are jettisoning established principles which were there for 1,000 years, 500 years, 700 years. There was an empirical basis of it. And because of the AI, we come across one app, one reel, and we jettison that idea, and we are very ready to invest the new idea. We must think over it. It is not that it doesn't promote alternative thinking, but it is the way that we must be very careful while dealing with any new idea or any new thinking process with respect to cuisine, our lifestyles, etc. You see, the whole idea is that why there is a great disruption not only in technology but in society also. If there is a huge disruption in society, then it also has an impact on social justice. Because society cannot be divorced from the social justice. So it is a society from where the social justice could come. Therefore, whenever we have this established traditional knowledge which is getting completely washed away because we have access to so much of information, so much of the wisdom is lost. The disappearance of wisdom because of the AI would be the greatest, and whatever we feed in the AI is only there. There are so many diverse languages. In Rajasthan, there are so many dialects which you won't find in AI, which you won't have access on the internet. So many of our idioms, aphorisms, adage, which are getting lost. Why? Because they do not feature as a part of the AI. This marginalization is not only of the communities, marginalization of languages, of dialects, of societal living, it is also having an impact. And when, as an end, we are engaging more ourselves with AI, we are more digitally connected, but we are getting disconnected from our own communities, own living being. That is also having a very adverse impact on social justice. Therefore, the AI and social justice has to be seen not only from the lens of law alone, because I am a lawyer, but it has to be seen from the very vast perspective of society also, and from the sociological angle, which was also emphasized by Madam Author. She said in there that social scientists also should come forward and point out as to what are the implications which we have to deal with, especially in the young students. And the one thing which we must learn, which AI is doing, is encouraging laziness. Because about 300 years ago, when there was no industrial revolution, we were very hard. We were hard-working persons. We used to do lot of manual labor. Industrial revolution came, and our mind became, our hands and our limbs became numb. In the sense that we are not doing that hard labor. Most of us are not doing. At least in urban people who are doing white-collar jobs are not doing hard work. In the sense of manual labor. Then came this computers, and slowly till the AI. Now we lose our cognitive abilities will be taken away. Our mind will be had. As Professor in the morning told us that we have an app called Brain, which must be used. So he actually pointed out that. So we have to use we should not reach to a stage where our cognitive abilities are completely taken over by some other, which is machine learning, and which is after all a machine. So we are at a very cusp of losing of mental labor, one thing, losing of mind would be another thing, because the only distinguishing feature of a Homo sapien called man or a human being is mind. If we are going to lose mind, then what will happen? Of course, we have enormous energy in the form, because now man was not the certainly fittest person, but now he has become the most powerful person in terms of energy because of industrial revolution. Now the man should not be taken over by the mind of the man, which distinguishes it and makes it most distinctive, should not be taken over by this AI intelligence. And this has been flagged by many persons, that how AI can be so much disruptive that it is the verge of taking away human mind, and that is why empathy, etc., consciousness, whether it will have a soul, whether it will have consciousness, but the way we are speeding up, we should be able to say the most important thing which man has, and that is what? That is mind, that is brain, that is neural networks, which have evolved over millions of years of time. And I would just like to say one thing. The great futurist Yuval Noah Harari, and he has said a very good thing. If you don't know the past, you cannot predict your future. but he said a very important thing about man being free. All of us feel that we are far more free than we were, say, 50 years ago, because there were so many other shackles of time and social bindings and other economic deprivation, that we are feeling very free this time. But he said, the more people believe in free will, the easier it is to manipulate them, because they won't think that their feelings are being produced or manipulated by some external environment or factors. Thus, living in echo chambers has become the new social norms, but it will one day completely enslave us. So we have to see to it the AI does not enslave us to that extent. And I'm again very thankful to Ambedkar University and the Vice Chancellor and all the Subodh College for having given me this opportunity to address this august gathering. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that remarkable address. The depth of your experience and the precision of your insights have truly elevated this session. We now open the floor for a brief interaction. Participants who wish to ask a question may kindly raise their hands.
Since morning, we have been listening to great minds, and just now Dr. Manish Singhvi has concluded. So, Dr. Manish, I partly agree with you and partly disagree with you. For the reason that you said we are in echo chambers. No, this conference itself is an example that we are not in echo chambers. We are discussing, we are debating, we are challenging the pros and cons of the AI. Another thing, you said that AI is doing this, AI will do this, AI will do nothing. We will do it. AI is nothing but a creation of human mind. Any advancement is a creation of human mind. AI has not come from the sky. Some scientists have evolved it. Other scientists have given further advancement to it. And mind it, whenever the scientists will feel that this AI is going to danger us, our survival, as people say, the super intelligence will come and we will become slave to my limited wisdom. I stand corrected. I am also learning. So, to my wisdom, there is no worry about the AI, because we are controlling. We means the scientific community is controlling, the legal community is controlling. European AI Act has clearly said that these are the dangerous AI, they won't be allowed. They have demarcated dangerous AI, permissible AI. So we will control it whenever we feel that this particular.
What is the question?
Question is not there. It's just an observation. So, question, अब question पूछने का time है. So anyway, you have given a very jurisprudential thoughts, and you have raised fundamental issues about the social equality or inequality. But to my mind, tomorrow I will discuss during valedictory. First of all, let me take a fundamental 2 minutes only, 1 minute rather. It is telling AI as a artificial intelligence is a misnomer. I have mentioned in my book, it is not artificial intelligence, it is augmented intelligence. Better you call it augmented. The machine has augmented our intelligence. The machine, data analytics, machine learning, these are the processes through which artificial intelligence works. So these systems created by us have augmented our intelligence. Intelligence cannot be artificial. And finally, as you said, information and all that, to conclude, you said wisdom. So there is a famous saying, where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? And where is the knowledge we have lost in information? So it is true that we are guided by information, right or wrong, canards, rumors, but we have to apply our wisdom. Thank you very much.
Just to say about echo chambers, I will say echo chambers is when a person is all alone and is working, but when you have so many people, there is no echo chambers. It is the real chambers. Thank you.
So on that artificial intelligence.
That artificial intelligence point which you made is, in a way we can say it is augmented intelligence. But when you see the evolution of artificial intelligence, what they are saying is that there will be a system which will be intelligently thinking other than human. That is why it is said artificial intelligence. So human will definitely code it. But the point is that after coding, the system itself starts thinking. That is where the challenge is. Yes. So if you have control till every point in time, then there is no challenge. Challenge is there where system automatically starts thinking on your behalf. And this was a very famous ad which was produced when that particular person is having an IoT in his home, right? And one day he suffers a toothache, and then when they come to the gate is not recognizing, then AC is blowing. So all these particular systems, if you tag it with the human part of it, then there is a challenge. That is what is the major point. Yeah. Yeah, it has definitely taken away all your wisdom. But one beauty of this particular system, I will tell you, is automation is going to help you in one way also. Like for example, now see case distribution which is happening in courts. They are doing it through automated system now. So nobody knows this case is going to whom. The docket will go to whom, at providing the randomization. If you do it individually, then this is a different thing. But if it is randomized, मेरे को भी कंट्रोल नहीं है. पहले लोगों के फोन आते थे, मेरी बेटे का इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन करा दो. अब सेंट्रलाइज्ड एडमिशन होता है. No one has a say in it. Though there are backdoor entries, that is a different story. But if it gets completely automated, nobody will have a say. It will be completely automated. Everybody will be having an opportunity to be selected.
My point is who automated it? We automated.
Initially, yes.
Who automated?
Initially, yes. Yeah.
And we can improve it. We can improve it.
Right. Any other questions? Any other question? Anyone? Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, my question is for you. It is only fair if I ask this question. So, can you throw some light upon the problem of competition law and algorithm pricing and the future of AI?
No, that is a major problem actually, because previously we used to say that there are humans who are cartelizing. They are coming in a place and they are cartelizing. Now these systems have actually made this cartelization more easier for companies, right? So that is why there is a separate law now. We are talking about Digital Markets Act and looking at these particular markets in a different way than the traditional market. So that is the only answer. You see, over a period, the regulatory systems have to become smarter than the regulation. So it won't happen that artificial intelligence would take over the humans. That won't happen. We will shut the system that day if we find it. But so long as it is operating and it is helping us, that is more important. Yeah. No, we will always have a capacity to shut it down, sir. You see, electricity, we shut it down, everything gets shut down. Sir, point is that is the power. No, this is what? These are the systems which are powered by electricity. These are the systems which are powered by these systems.
So simply, we have to create checks and balances.
Yes, checks and balances has to be there, right? Correct.
Create checks and balances. Yeah.
I think now you can go ahead. If there are any other questions?
It will be done by the human being,
No. Yeah.
not by the machine.
Thank you.
नहीं और कोई मेरे ज्यादा तो पूछ लीजिए कोई दिक्कत नहीं बस चाहिए भी ना
Volunteer, please give the mic.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is particularly to Manisha. So, sir, I just want to ask a question that do you use AI or did you use AI when drafting or in your submission of arguments before the Honorable Court?
I will tell you one
How
thing.
should I use AI when I am doing this?
There are only two kinds of lawyers in this country. One who use the AI, and second ones are who take a life that I don't use AI.
Thank you once again to our speakers. We sincerely value.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Sir, my question is, in today's era, how can someone avoid using AI when others around us using it to faster and more efficient? Sir, the main thing is we can't just skip AI. Everyone is using it. If I want to my work faster or do it more efficiently, I can attach my email. I can attach some more things and give authority to a AI tool. It can read my all the emails and suggest me which one is urgent and which one is necessary.
Answer is only one. Use your AI, but don't make your mind useless. Use your own mind also. That's it.
Sir, your when you said we are just caught in a echo chambers, I understand that we are not building something. Every idea is coming from something, and just a mess about that. So how can I escape totally when I am doing something or my friend is
Why do
doing
you
the
want
same?
to escape? Why do you want to escape? Because it is there now. That's what we are again talking about.
See, there is you are actually caught in a situation where you are having a competition. So your friends are using AI, they are giving better projects, they are utilizing it and doing it, and then you are caught in a situation that why should not I ramp up?
Yeah.
If I do original work, then whether I will lagging behind.
Yeah.
My answer to you is that compete with them, but don't give your brain to AI. That is what we have been harping about since morning. So the original analysis, if you say you just put, for example, one decision, you put it in AI, it will give you an analysis, okay? You read that analysis, you are smarter, some teacher, you answer that particular question, it's over, right? What about your own reflective, sense on that? Whatever you have read before or what judgment has said in detail, what are the quotations they have used in it, how orderly they have written that. This you will not get it unless you read the judgment yourself. For that you have to spend time. Nowadays problem is that we don't want to spend time. Whatever we get conclusions, we read the conclusions and move on. Laziness. So that is not going to help you in the long run.
For analysis, use
So we can't escape the
use
laborious
AI.
work.
No, you should not escape. Rather, why you want to escape? You should not escape the laborious work at all. At the beginning, definitely not. Like we professors can utilize it. Okay, fine. We have been invited for a conference. We can make it up. Okay, because we have made our day. That is fine. But for students, we don't recommend at all because to reach at this level, we have also gone through it. We read judgments completely. Yeah.
The analysis should be by your mind, and you should not be lagging behind. Learn the skill, update yourself. But when it comes to analysis, it should be your analysis and not artificial intelligence.
Just a last one. Ma'am, the question would be to you, as an academician, when you are kind of taking maybe any research paper as such, or maybe, because these days we have 60-40 pattern coming into universities and schools. There are times where, as rightly mentioned by a co-friend, who stated that there is a student who would really come up with an AI generated work, vis-a-vis there is a person who puts in a lot of hard work. Now, when you're saying hard work, with an AI having the entire sea of knowledge, where would a person really limit or put in? Because there are times when they score 90, we score 70. And then, yes, when it comes to working, we can show our skills and talent. But when you are
marginalized with percentiles, it becomes very difficult. So what is your take, ma'am, as an academician?
Faculty or a student?
Both. Research scholar plus a faculty. Thank you.
One thing is there, like
Yes.
we all are using AI tools in education.
Yes, ma'am.
But you must mention the prompt from which you have taken or the source from which you have taken, because that is how the ethics which we follow in the research. If any institute, even if does not have to check the plagiarism in AI generated content, if you are a real professor, you just have to go through that research article and immediately you will come to know that it is AI generated and the research scholar has not used his brain, because if some journal is mentioned which is not available in India,
Ma'am,
so
there
you
are better
immediately
AI
add
systems
the
even
source
in
is
that.
not mentioned there. So immediately you come to. In fact, I was discussing during our lunch that one of my faculty members came up with a question paper, excellent question paper on public international law, and he tried to impress me, saying, "Ma'am, this is my question paper. Look at the questions." I said, "Please remove inverted commas. This has been taken from the chat." So it's not that we do not know how to evaluate. Ultimately, we know what is AI generated content, and if we follow Bloom taxonomy whenever we have the evaluation. So some questions are just simple where the person can just get the content from AI, mug up and do and have different opinion of this or that. But when it comes to critical analysis, when it is come to application-based questions, that person who is using AI cannot compete with the general. So that's why it's on the teacher also, how to evaluate, how to go about that question paper. During COVID, we were having online exams, and it was very easy to cheat because we could not have that monitoring. But if the question paper had that analysis, that application based, then no student had the time to cheat only. No. It is when it comes to critical analysis. You have to see so many things and then do the analysis.
The answer is transmitted.
No, I agree with that. But the thing is, if the question is of high standard, it's a complex question.
Cheating is
And they are not used to that. They are still students.
Man, everything is, I've got a system now, because if you see plagiarism, like you are talking about artificial intelligence in the plagiarism getting detected. Now you have tools, only you have to have money. And that is what we were talking about, digital divide.
And you can humanize the content.
Humanize
There
the
are
content.
apps which humanize the content and you can't detect that it is AI generated content.
Right, like you cannot detect it in the AI.
So,
See, everything is there. As a teacher, if I have to assess a student, it's very simple. You have a project, ask them 3 questions, and that is how the project gets assessed.
So in my
nothing more, nothing less.
Yes, in
It's
my
sufficient
continuous
enough.
assessment also, even if I have project, I must have presentation along with it. So even if it is AI generated, if I ask question and you are not able to give the answer, I can evaluate very nicely that this person doesn't know much about this project. When it comes to dissertation also, its Viva is also there. When it comes to thesis also, the Viva is there. You can easily judge that whether the person has got just AI generated content or the person has used his or her own mind. So that's the way we can play safe. Otherwise, the things are getting out of hand. We can't have plagiarism check for small projects. So it's difficult.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to our speakers. We sincerely value the time and wisdom you have shared with us today.
We shall now proceed with the felicitation of our honored speakers of the plenary session. This gesture is a humble expression of our gratitude and appreciation for their valuable presence, scholarly insights, and meaningful contribution to this conference. With deep respect and appreciation, we now begin the felicitation ceremony. I now request Madam Chancellor of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Law University, to felicitate Dr. Manish Singhvi, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India. I request Sir to kindly move forward for the felicitation.
I now request Madam to felicitate Professor Dr. Vijay Kumar Singh, Dean at Faculty of Law, SRM University, Sonipat.
I now request Madam Vice Chancellor to felicitate Professor Dr. Komal Audicher, Director, Amity Law School, Amity University, Jaipur. As we bring this plenary session to a close, we are left with a wealth of